All right, we're on air. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to the first episode of Crew Chats in how long, guys? Almost a year? Yeah, lots of months.
Yeah, about a year.
If you missed some previous episodes that are over a year old, where I think I was reading through them yesterday, we discussed Castle, which was cute, with GDPR coming down the pike in like another 2 weeks. But feel free to check them out on this same channel on YouTube. Just go back and consume Crew Chats. If you have any questions, though, something new that's happened in the intervening year is you can actually chat with us directly on the video as we do this live. So if you're into that, ask us questions as we go. And if you want to just engage with us on Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever, just use the hashtag CrewChats, and we'll keep an eye out for those as well. But how we always like to start these is we just do a quick round of intros. I'm Joe, and then we have a fun fact of the week. So just reading directly off the script, the fun fact is, WTF have you been up to in the year-long hiatus? So for myself, one of the main reasons Crew Chats became a little hard for me to do last year was I moved from Chicago to Seattle and took a job with Amazon. And I'm still with Amazon, working at AWS, training all of our 800 marketers on how to use Marketo. So, and some other digital marketing type stuff, but that's what I've been up to. I'm going to go next to Jules.
Hang on. I was muted, sorry. So I'm Jules James, Assistant Professor of Marketing at St Edward's University. Also do a little bit of freelance consulting and training on the side. What have I been up to this year-long hiatus? Not a lot. Getting used to the Texas heat, pretty much. That's about it. I'm a bit sad, really. Learning how to do 3-gun competitions. There you go.
Yes, that looked really good as I was watching your Instagram the other day.
Yeah, I'm not very good, but it was a lot of fun.
Andy, why don't you go next? Andrea.
It looks like she's frozen.
Andy Kemp.
Oh, I'm here, sorry. My connection's pretty bad, so I might just be silent for a while and just be here. Year-long hiatus. Jumped to working with Rev Engine Marketing with Jen, and we were recently acquired, and so now we joined the Digital Pie team. So now we're with Jess and all of those wonderful people at Digital Pie. So really been focusing on being working with clients and all the new fun instances that I get to see.
Cool. Enrico, how about you go next?
Let's see. My name is Enrico DeLeon. I'm a marketing automation manager at AMRI, and in the last year, I was getting a new job at AMRI. So it's definitely a learning curve, but it's great. It's fun to see all of these guys and see all the Marketo people again.
And it's only been a week.
Mm.
Jess.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica Cow. I'm work at Digital Pie as a consultant. I've been there for more than 2.5 years. So in the past year, just doing the same. Actually, I picked up running the Silicon Valley Marketo user group. So as if that's not enough on my plate, I'd do that too.
Glutton for punishment. Jen.
No.
I am Maria. I am also a consultant at Digital Pie, so that makes a good chunk of us now, I think. 3. And
we need you guys to sponsor these then, I think, is going to be the rule. I'm just kidding.
We'll make a suggestion.
I'm not serious, Ryan. I'm just kidding.
Does that mean we just send beer to Joe?
Yes, my address is...
Get fan mail. Yeah, the past year has been a lot of work, and now I am the secretary of the Champion Leadership Committee, so that's been really fun. I get to spam everybody all the time, so that's been really great. And I took up boxing, so that's been exciting too. I post a lot about that, so hopefully everyone likes that. That's what I've been up to.
Glorious. Okay, so Obviously, Marketo Summit was last week, so a big reason why we're choosing to relaunch now is one, we got to see each other again for the first time in the year, and get into our annual shenanigans. But also, we're just riding the high from last week, kind of everything we talked about being fearless marketers and all the cool things that you learn at Summit every year. We want to kind of capitalize on that momentum and the motivation that we're feeling to recommit to doing crew chats more regularly. So we'll talk more about kind of what that's going to look like. Instead of a weekly thing, it's going to be a monthly thing. But for this, the purpose of this episode is we want to kind of dive into what we learned at Summit and just kind of give a quick recap in case you weren't there. So the first agenda item for this call is, what were 3 things you learned at Marketo Summit? Crickets.
Who's going first? I mean, one thing that massively stood out to me, there was many, was metrics and analytics. The one thing that I am working much harder to learn about is attribution. So seeing all of the different metrics talks that there were, and all the different vendors that now talk about metrics, and having the whole visible thing, which we're going to talk about later. It's definitely the big thing for everyone right now. Is just, we all know how Marketo works. We know it does what we want it to do. Now it's about how do we prove what we're doing is a good thing. So I think that's a massive thing for me. Anyone else?
For me, it was nice to realize that like literally nobody feels prepared for GDPR. So we got that going for us. At least we're all in good company.
So what Jen just said, I don't know if she's breaking up for anyone else. The encouraging thing was that nobody. I think someone's got their audio turned up. But the cool thing was, no one feels adequately prepared for GDPR, which is very reassuring, because I think it was something that we were all kind of feeling, but no one wanted to acknowledge that GDPR is coming, and it's a big hairy beast. But cool. And before we move on, I just saw Deborah join. Deborah, do you want to do a quick introduction of yourself?
Sure. Hi, I know you guys have already seen a lot of my emails come through, but I'm Deborah, part of the customer marketing team here at Tableau. And yeah, actually just hopped off a call with Joe and Julie right before this. So good to meet you all. I don't know if I could stay for the whole thing, but I just wanted to pop in and say hi.
Cool. So what we were just talking about was 3 things we've all learned from Summit. So we mentioned GDPR, and that it feels very commiserating, that everybody feels like it's kind of the race to the finish now.
Right.
And then point 2, a lot of things about the importance of metrics and analytics. I know Jess gave a talk about the importance of analytics and kind of how to get to just first touch, multi-touch attribution kind of stuff, and how to stuff Marketo. Anything else that they want to dive into?
Can we talk about the new UI?
Yeah, so the Marketo Sky thing. I think Jess has the most visibility to that, if you want to say whatever you can say.
Sure. Yeah, I think the UI is in beta right now. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea how they choose, who gets on beta or not. But I do know that there are, that in the process, I know that personally, I have given, the in beta, they're looking for feedback or, so I don't know what the formalities of the program are, but in having played around with the new UI, a lot of the features that we have asked for a really long time, like those saved smart lists, the saved logic, that's in there. So that's really exciting. And then the mass actions, right? So mass actions to unapprove a landing page or a group of landing pages or a bunch of emails all together, and to also set expiration dates. So I know from me, those were the features that stood out to me from about Marketo Sky and the new user interface. So it was really exciting to see when that will be rolled out. So yeah. How about you guys? Anyone else had any experience with Marketo Sky?
A little bird in Marketo product management told me that there might be folder level permissioning coming, which just makes my dark heart swell with glee that I can control who can see what just by the folder level rather than just the all up workspace.
That's exciting. There were lots of, I don't, my bad for not reading the script, but are we talking about any of the other product announcements that Marketo made at Summit?
We can talk about whatever you want.
I know that AI was obviously a big thing. Anyone want to talk about any of the product announcements that were related to the whole AI? It seems to be a whole family of things that were around that.
Yeah, is anyone using content AI at this point?
Not yet, but I can't wait to try it. I just need to find an instance that I can try it on. I need someone who's going to let me be their guinea pig. But
well, I mean, AWS is hiring, I hear. So we
I
have
know.
it.
Thanks for that. Stop worrying. No, I'm really excited to see an AI and then that reporting that they showed in the keynote as well. That new reporting dashboard and stuff. And I think Jess, you showed it in your session as well, that new reporting layout. And I think having new AI and getting the system to do that personalization for us without us having to use the segments or snippets or however else we want to play it out, and having the reporting that we can do on the top of that, because it's great having all this technology and it's great us being able to play around with this technology until your boss or your boss's boss or someone says, so what? So what can we do with it? What's the point of having it? Why are we investing this money? And then when we can start showing that reporting and dashboards that those people can understand, and just showing a CMO a nice little dashboard and said, this is what we've got, this is where we get our revenue from, building both of those together and being able to show that in a visual format, I think is going to be a massive, massive difference for a lot of companies. And maybe, hopefully, more investment in more tech than we can play around with and test with even more. That's what I got from it anyway.
I think that just more options with reporting too.
Cool. So there was obviously a lot of big changes this year with Marketo Summit. Andy or Enrico, do you want to share some of like your perspectives on what these changes were and kind of like what your favorites of them were?
Sorry, is that changes about Summit or changes about Marketo in general?
Either or. I was thinking of the conference in general, but yeah, I mean, it's a fair point.
I can come at you from the Marketo side of things, because I did not attend Summit last year. But one of the big things, and this is a question that I've asked a lot, and this is again isn't a slight at Marketo, but it's really a lot of these new features and a lot of these new things in the product showcase, I think have changed names or changed branding. So I always want to ask that question. Okay, what are the new things and how have they equated to products maybe tested in the past? Because again, I'm a year off from Marketo.
Cool. Yeah, and I think thinking of the conference itself, I think one of the interesting things to me was in prior years there was only 10 champion sessions. This year, I believe there's 20, which I don't know how well that was. Like how? I'm sorry. Say what?
Sorry. There's more than 20.
Yes. Oh, there's more than 20. How many were there?
I think there were 22. I could be wrong, but I remember there was a lot, and that's I think that's to all of the feedback from people wanting more of the foundational technical sessions.
Yeah,
I think that would be one thing that I had noticed. I didn't get to do a ton of the sessions this year, unfortunately, but what I did find feedback from my clients at least was the more technical sessions versus strategic high level. And yay for Marketo for listening to that feedback, because apparently that worked out really, really well by having more champs or people who are actually in the weeds of Marketo, and also just running, basically like getting their hands dirty and dirty, but like rolling up their sleeves and working in it. And that was just really beneficial. I found a lot of people talking about that.
Yeah, I had heard similar feedback. I know I met up with the Philly Marketo user group, and they were saying that the champ tracks, and there was someone talking behind me about it one time too, about how they found that really useful to have all of the tactical like implementation stuff run by champions, like people who are actually using all the goodness of Marketo. So it felt like, you know, we're all compadres fighting the same war.
Yeah, it seems like Marketo kind of figured out I felt like in past years, there's kind of this crisis of identity, right? Of like, we want the C-suite to come, but we also want it to be useful for our practitioners, and we just want to do all the tracks. And it was not, I don't know, I just felt like the value of the sessions was elevated this year. I feel like the number and just quality of the champ sessions were better than I'd seen in previous years. And I know Jess and Jen and Jules, your rooms seem full. When I was in Jess and Jules, I didn't go to Jess's.
Yeah, that's right. That's
yeah. She won't let me forget that I missed how many 3 sessions you did this year?
You had 3 chances to my talk. You missed them all. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm just consistent. That's what I go for. But every champ session I was in was packed. I mean, like standing room only. I had team members that just were unable to actually come in. So I think that's something that Marketo really leaned into. And in addition to that, getting over the back to the identity idea of like, should this be a conference for practitioners or a conference for like executive leadership? When you walk down the street, it was like in prior years, it's always been like keynote speakers and things like that blown up on these like 50-foot banners. This year it was actual Marketo users and champions and award winners. So I know Jules and Jess both had giant signs throughout the expo hall. Did you guys ever work out who got to keep which one? Or did you cut it in half and each get your own face?
I watched them being taken down. I was still in the building when they were taking them down. And I saw them fold them up very neatly. So I'm hoping Julie Pruna hasn't, and they were taller than 5 foot. I will tell you that now. Watch them come down. They must have been about 10 feet tall.
Oh, if not bigger. I think they were at least 15 feet.
They were huge. When I was actually next to them watching them bring them down and was like, holy crap, they're actually massive. But he very carefully folded them and didn't throw them away. So I'm hoping. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but
I think you just need to like
wallpaper of your face.
Yeah, I might hang it up on balcony.
When you go to your next competition, just do it like have like a flagpole hanging out of the back of your truck, like a real Texan.
Yeah, do you not know who I am? I mean, going back to what was I going to say? Something about Summit. Oh, going back to the sessions at Summit. One thing I know, all the sessions I went to, I took something away from. Like previous years when I've done sessions, some of them have seemed a bit salesy, or I've not actually taken something away from it. But this time, every single one, I managed to actually get something out of it. I took a takeaway, whether it be something I need to change, or something I can do better, or something I can work on. Every single session was like that. Versus sitting through a session and 20 minutes in being like, why am I here? I'd rather go and get a drink from somewhere else. So yeah, that was my big takeaway.
Anyone else have any insightful Summit wisdom to share?
I don't know if this is insightful wisdom, but I think just to hop on that bandwagon for that feedback, I think it's just coming from someone who's a Marketo myself. I know our team really put, not only our team, but the content team in general really tried to, make sure that more champion sessions were being provided. So it's just great to hear that they were helpful for all of you guys and that there was good feedback in general. And hopefully we'll be able to incorporate that for next year as well.
Cool.
I think one of the things that I learned when giving the sessions is that I gave homework for some of my sessions. I gave worksheets, and people love it. Like, who loves homework? So I think for next year, I think it just emphasizes like people really, what Andy was saying, people really want to roll up their sleeves and get down and dirty into Marketo. And I think us as part of the, ability to provide that type of content, just give them a ton of stuff to work on, like lots of homework next year for them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they do more, what do they call those, like the little round tables, that seating style, where it's not just like, like a workshop style thing. And I know in the past it's been hard to do because the internet access, like you've got 7,000, I think, close to this year, marketers all using the Wi-Fi at the same time. So they don't want to make the sessions dependent on that. But I don't know, there might be something to that idea of figuring out the logistics there of like, is there a way we could maybe even just pre-record kind of workshop stuff and just have people build, like, I don't know, like a more training kind of workshop, but not just training, I don't know.
Like a Champ Education Day.
Yeah. Like
Champ University Day.
It'd be really cool to do like a panel like this and just be like, just make it an AMA thing of like, what do you guys got? See if you can stump us. But anyway, we'll talk about that next year when we submit sessions.
That sounds like a can of worms, actually.
Well, anybody that's been on stage answering QA knows that is probably an idea fraught with disaster. So
it is not fun, I can attest.
Let me ask you a very particular question about my one use case that I am going to give you no background context on.
But that's why there's the champion bar.
True. All right. So all that said, we'll just go down the line.
That was something I noticed too, is the champ bar was used, I felt like a little bit more, we had a schedule last year, but had one this year, and I actually got to talk with users this year. So I don't know if it was that it was advertised or what, but a lot more people were coming up and we were going through their instance to review it. So that was really nice. I don't know what the change was there, but that was different.
I think Janet and all the Marketo folks are just doing a really great job of, like, as people come up to the whole Marketo swarm of booths right there, directing them to the right spot. I think was kind of how it worked out. But you're right, like it was very, very much useful conversations with actual users. That some various levels of skill, right? Like there were some people that came up. I know Enrico was talking to one person that was brand new to marketing, brand new to Marketo, and just did a little guidance on like, where do I even begin? And then there was other people talking about like API questions. I was standing there with Justin Norris in the booth at one point, and someone had a very specific ask about API calls with some provider. But yeah, so the next item on the agenda that I wanted to hit was, we've got 6 minutes left, but I wanted everybody to kind of go down the line and say what they thought their favorite session was.
Can we say our own session? Is that allowed?
I hope so. I was going to.
Question.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, from me, I enjoyed our session because one, we didn't expect the room to be as big as it was.
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a shock when we found that out on Monday morning. And seeing that many people seem to be engaged. When Jen was speaking, I kind of sat on the chair, and while I was looking around, and you saw lots of people like taking pictures, or you saw people writing notes, and having that level of engagement in the room was actually really, really good. I mean, like there was, I don't know, 200-300 people in there. That was an awesome thing to have. And then same with Jess's session. I love Jess's session because it was, again, looking around. I was taking notes because I want to learn more about attribution, and because it's not something I do with a lot of people. But seeing everyone else, like you could hear people, you could hear keyboards clicking away, and you could hear people taking notes. And at the end, seeing everyone get up and take those worksheets goes to show how much help people are sometimes looking for. So for me, that was, I mean, I love Jess's session. So there you go. It's my little plug for Jess.
Oh, thanks.
That's why she won Champion of the Year, which she didn't mention in what she did in the last year as well. Yeah. Anyone else?
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was a byproduct of the sessions that I attended. Obviously, I'm not going to pick anyone on this call. because I'm a nice guy. So I'm going to actually call out the session that I went to called Fearlessly Climbing the Marketing Leadership Ladder. And that was, I'm going to butcher the name, Jill Rowley, and Michelle McCarthy. That was a great talk. I think for a lot of people, it puts it in perspective. And then it was a workshop style session. So you could pick out people that were asking similar questions and then try to talk to them later and sort of commiserate or, you know, battle plan this stuff, you know, like get some ideas. And then also I want to point out the other cool thing about the non-salesy sessions was a lot of the sessions I went to were transparent and called out that, you know, what you're looking at on our slides are, you know, extremely fine-tuned and have had a chance to build out. And so that awareness for a lot of people, especially the new users, is you just don't get to this immediately. It takes some work to get there. So I appreciated that in all of the sessions, especially the advanced ones.
Very cool. Yeah, Jill seems great. I want to. Did they record any of these or just the slides?
Just the slides, I think. I think a few of us, I know Jules and I are getting together to record individually, but I think it's just going to be the slides for now. Gotcha. Otherwise.
But I know, like I know, Joe, you've recorded yours and made available. I'm going to find some time this weekend and record my sessions and make them available to everyone as well.
Cool. Yeah, it's actually on this channel. Don't navigate away now, but later go and if you want, whatever. So the last little thing I wanted to cover with our few minutes left was want to make sure everybody, one very interesting thing that happened at Summit this year was the Visible acquisition. So Marketo's really, speaking of reporting and kind of the importance there, really leaning into improving their reporting capabilities. So one thing that I thought was really cool, I got an email about this week, I think it was this week, saying if you take a demo of Visible before June 30th, you'll get 2 free tickets to Summit. We'll try to put a link to that in the comments of this video, but they've got a little landing page. You fill out a form and tell them, you know, your basic contact info, and then someone literally reaches out in like 2 minutes. It's, you know, sales ops excellence 101, I guess. But kind of interested to hear what other people's thoughts. Is anyone here a past Visible customer? Crickets. Okay. Does anyone have any strong opinions?
So we looked at it when I was at Biz Library. We ended up switching to do Bright Funnel, but I think it was budgeting, honestly, because we did what? It just brought in like Google Analytics. It brought in our Salesforce data. And I think it can now bring in like your Marketo data because it hooks into Salesforce. It was at that point, probably has changed since. But generally with like marketing analytics, you have this collaboration of metrics you have to piece together because that's, you know, let's be honest, like Scrapple, you really do have to put those metrics together from different points as far as like conversions and traffic and whatnot. And so I think it will be huge that this is an area that I think personally Marketo has an opportunity to develop it. And Visible was very similar to the reporting tool that we were using. I don't know if it's better or whatnot, but I don't know. I guess I'll do the demo.
It's also got it's got like, I think, don't quote me on the number, but it's got multiple models, 10, 11, something like that, of the different kinds of attribution models that you can choose from.
Cool. Well, very good. Yeah, I think I'm excited to kind of play around with the tool and see kind of like how we can elevate our reporting at AWS. But we'll put a link to that in the comments here. But we are at time, so I've got a hard stop. I got to get out of this room. But want to make sure our goal with these videos, we're going to post them monthly, and they'll be on Friday like this, just Friday afternoon. And we're really wanting to upgrade, because we're doing them less frequently, really want to upgrade the quality of the discussion as well as you know, just getting back onto that regular cadence, and even though it is a little less frequent. So we'll be communicating over social and kind of like the topic of the next session. If there are topics that you'd like to hear discussed in the future, please feel free to @, us on Twitter or LinkedIn, and we'd be more than happy to address them there. So thanks again. I've been Joe Wrights. This has been Crew Chats, and we'll see you guys later.